Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by clicking the like button, by leaving a comment, by leaving multiple comments, or by subscribing if you have not already done so. All these things do help with my ranking on the algorithm. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This is, of course, the most popular news story of the day, so I'm here to explain why everything has taken place. Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency market fell as equity markets pulled back after the closing bell after minutes from the Federal Reserve's December FOMC meeting, showing that the regulator is committed to decreasing its balance sheet and increasing interest rates in 2022. Let me explain. A lot of you might remember March, April, May, somewhere around that time frame of 2020. That was already 2 years ago, if you can believe it. You know the situation that went on. Basically what happened was that the Federal Reserve, the people who print money, announced that they were basically going to be printing more money in an effort to get the economy going, because they slowly realized that things were not going to be getting better as early as other people said. There were a lot of people who were saying that things by June, July would be a-okay. We now know that it was simply not the case. So they began to print tons of money. On top of printing tons of money, they were also buying up tons of equities, tons of securities, basically pumping money into the market or accumulating things that were on the market to be able to, in essence, make it seem as if things were normal. A lot of this extra printed money was also used by other people to start buying up huge swaths of portions of stocks. In the nicest way possible. All of this is fake. I don't know how else to really put it in a nice manner. So the idea basically being them raising interest rates is the opposite correlation of what they've been doing for a very long time. The idea being is that if there is no interest in any market for people to take out some type of debt and have a low interest rate. Let's say the interest rate is around 2% and people are like, I want to take out debt to buy a home, but I'm not really, kind of on the fence, and they lower the interest rate to 1% and people go, almost there, and they lower it to near 0% as they have already done. Then people begin to take out loans and debt against whatever they might need to buy. Part of the issue is no one's doing it. So you can't continuously lower the interest rate and then it becomes a negative interest rate. And this is when also banks begin to take money from your bank account in an effort to kind of stay afloat, which we're also seeing in other countries as well. So the idea being to bring it on back, it's very simple, if you will. And I mean, it's not simple, but it's an easy way to explain it, is that the idea of them raising interest rates has to do with the fact that, once again, that people are, again, interested in the market and therefore are willing to pay a higher interest rate to be able to take out debt, which is not the case because people already aren't doing it right now. And decreasing their balance sheet is basically decreasing and or lowering the amount of buying that they were doing every single month of things on the stock market and in other equity markets, yada, 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 to kind of keep them afloat. So we know that since 2008, 2009, a large amount of money printing has been happening, but also this kind of like backdoor buying for the markets. The stock market is incredibly overheated and has been since 2009. Should have actually collapsed. There are tons of documentaries on this. I don't have to explain every single thing. Like the stock market didn't go as low as it should have gone. It should have been wiped out. And then we should have been able to, bring it slowly back up. Stock market crashes usually take place over the course of a 7, maybe an 8-year period. We are well overdue for some kind of a stock market crash. The real estate market is once again overheated. A lot of indicators are pointing to basically that we are back around 2008, 2009 when it comes to the stock market. And the fact that they continue printing money and will continue printing money because they don't really have a choice right now is not making things any better. So yeah, basically the stock market heavily reacted to the idea of tapering, which they mentioned before that they were going to stop printing as much money as they've been doing, but they can't do this because the market is, I can't say the word, either word. The market is used to such money pumping inside of its systems, and anything else, any other time, if you paid attention over the last 2 years, that we've gotten any indication that the Federal Reserve was thinking of taking a step back, not a jump, not 2 steps, not 5 steps, 1 step back, the stock market fell. It's happened 5 or 6 times over the last 2 years if you've been watching this channel. So yeah, it says the stock market's corrected. Yeah, okay. Bitcoin's price followed suit by dropping below $44,000, setting off a cascade of liquidations that reached $222 million in less than an hour. The idea being, once again, many years ago, it was believed that eventually Bitcoin would have no correlation with any other market if Bitcoin got big enough, the idea usually being around a $250,000 Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price is so big, there's no real correlation with any other market. However, as Bitcoin's price is still not there, and a lot of people now correlate Bitcoin to anything techie, tech stocks, or a stock in general. I've seen many people, even years ago, discussing how they bought stock in Bitcoin, and it's like, okay, Bitcoin's market tends to follow the rest of the any other major world markets. You also saw the decrease that we had when the Evergrande situation was going on. Just understand once again, and I know, and I mentioned this even a week ago, the cryptocurrency market is not easy. I think every single market around the world is, I mean, they're laying on top of toothpicks at this point. But the cryptocurrency market is very special in that we are literally at the whim of whales, manipulators, the stock market. I mean, any other thing. I mean, even years ago, whenever any major banker who are now into the cryptocurrency market said anything negative about the price of Bitcoin or about Bitcoin in general, Bitcoin's price would dip by around 2 to 3, 4% on that actual day. So I saw a couple of other websites saying that they believed that Bitcoin's price had fallen because of some like mining situation in some other country. They were told to turn off their mining equipment. That's not the reason why Bitcoin fell. It's because the world's economy is actually garbage. I don't mean that as a joke. I don't mean that as a, I guess it can only be seen as a joke. No, it's completely real. The news that we continuously get about the traditional markets is that they're very flimsy right now. The only thing holding them up is the idea that the people who print money in the United States will continue to print money at the same speed or faster that they've been doing. Any indication that they might slow that down or that they might stop buying into the stock market, equities and securities markets to make things remain afloat, that's a problem. If you have someone tell you over and over and over, hey, I can't give you money anymore, and you completely collapse, that is a problem. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. Like, there's not really much more to actually dig into. I assume, here's my assumption, because I've seen this happen multiple times before. Usually, if Bitcoin's price finally settles on a number, let's say we fall down to $40,000 and we stay there for around 2 days, usually this is when prices begin to move back up. I do not believe that the wider cryptocurrency space sold off their coins. That is to say, the normal people who don't really care about the stock market, I don't think they sold. I assume during today, they're going to start selling off out of fear that other people are telling them to sell. But alas, a lot of these moves are usually by very rich people who are looking at the correlations between any kind of markets. They know when to sell off the cryptocurrency market to force other people to get out of the market so that they can buy more on another website. It's something that keeps happening over and over and over. And I'm certain, not by the end of this week, I say either not Sunday, probably Monday or Tuesday of next week, we will hear of the big 2 institutions who continuously buy over and over the dip as they always have done after prices have collapsed. So yeah. Either way, just to put it out there, the Federal Reserve has to continue printing money. Like, there is no choice of actually stopping the entire thing. Markets, or rather, I'll put it this way. The world as we once knew it in 2019 is gone. Jobs are gone. They're not returning, and people continue to leave their jobs looking for other job opportunities. The housing market has not fully recovered. If you watched my other video on my other channel, Money Rules, I think there's a link in the description. I discussed why we see a huge swath of rich people actually buying up all the real estate right now. It's not normal people who are buying real estate. I have this discussion with my friends quite often because we are also into real estate, the idea of real estate, yada, 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 passive income. It's too much to explain right now. Anyway, so yes, as it stands right now, the stock market has tumbled. I assume around the world the same exact thing has happened to other stock markets as well. The cryptocurrency markets, or people in the cryptocurrency markets, took notice, and that's the reason why it fell. Of course, the most popular / unpopular news of the day. There was a lot of course, other altcoin price news. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says red alert. Cardano and Solana could see major pullback. Watch these potential low levels. I'm going to explain something to you right now, and I know only 15% of you are going to actually hear this. Like, you can understand that I'm saying something, and it may even hit your eardrum, but of you absorbing this news, it's going to be around 15% of you. Bitcoin is the cryptocurrency market. I know. I know it hurts. I know you sucked your teeth, or your girlfriend standing next to you and you're like, oh, he's lying. No. The quicker you understand this, the easier the cryptocurrency market is going to be for you in the long run. I promise you. When I first got into the cryptocurrency market, there were a few other altcoins. I jumped into the other altcoins because they were less expensive than Bitcoin. Every time Bitcoin moved, they moved. Every time Bitcoin fell, they fell. This is just how I say in many videos, Bitcoin is the magnet. The frustration that you have for the altcoins that you own not going up, or constantly going up by 3 or 4% whenever Bitcoin has a 1% spike, will evaporate the moment you realize that Bitcoin is the market. The market moves when Bitcoin moves. We will have these exceptionally weird days where over the course of 4 days, Solana, maybe Cardano, they pump by 21%. But you've seen before, if Bitcoin then goes down by 4%, they also react by 6%. If Bitcoin goes down by 10%, those coins go right back to where they were 4 days ago in price. I'm saying that to you because I know I can feel it in the air. There are a lot of people who are very annoyed with the cryptocurrency market. I know. Believe me, I know. The moment you come to terms with the fact that you have to wait for Bitcoin to make a major move, that is when your portfolio will be properly in the green. That's when you'll get it. I promise you. The move back in price, the collapse in price, I saw it as I was getting ready to go to bed last night. It affected me 0%. I actually even texted my friends. We laughed about it for 8 seconds and they kept on talking about which NFTs to buy. I wish I was half joking. And I know other people who are also going to be putting more money into the market if we get anywhere close to a $40,000 Bitcoin, because it keeps happening over and over. Anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd throw that at you. I know a lot of people have already tuned out mentally to what I'm saying. And I know it's difficult or hard to believe because you want to believe so bad that the coin that you own is better in some sort of way than Bitcoin. It's not. I can't make that any clearer. I am not a Bitcoin maximalist. I do believe we are going to live in a world with multiple other coins. It just seems completely logical. I don't think that Bitcoin, unless something dramatic happens in the next 15 years where Bitcoin has like 95 layers around it, that Bitcoin is going to be the only coin. But understand, at this moment, Bitcoin is an entire planet. It has its own gravitational pull. That's the only thing that you need to really get. Anyway, that's all the price news. Nothing too insane, nothing too difficult. The people who are printing money keep saying that they're going to be printing less money. The people who are printing money keep saying that they're not going to be pushing as much money into the market, and the market keeps reacting because the last, not even the last 2 years, the last 10 plus years have just been money printing and buying behind the scenes to make it seem like the stock market was okay. That's why we were talking about that 2020 and 2021. Time flies really fast. Wow. Where I kept on saying, doesn't it seem weird that every other stock is collapsing except for like 5 of them? That didn't seem weird to anyone. That didn't seem... Anyway, that's all the price news. And without further ado, let's move on. Also in the news, and I think this is actually quite fascinating because of what it is, Ethereum's layer 2 scaling solution Polygon has been witnessing heavy on-chain activity over the last week. Recently, the NFT play-to-earn game Sunflower Farmers, OK, has clogged the Polygon network amid high demand of the network. The popularity of this NFT game accounts for gas consumption of a staggering 40%. The second account is just consuming 3% after it. For those of you who don't know what Polygon is, I don't blame you. About 9, 10, 11, 12 months ago, I also would have been like, I don't care what that is. Polygon is basically the Ethereum network solution at the moment to having lower or no gas fees. It has saved many a transaction going through because the idea of Polygon being a layer 2 on top of Ethereum basically means you pay no transaction fees, or I mean, in some cases, it's like a 1 cent transaction fee. Ethereum has to upgrade now. There's very little hope for the project if they really can't get it together. I think Polygon's amazing, and I hope that Polygon continues doing. But if Ethereum does not get it together, and I mean by Q2, like they keep saying, there's going to be another Polygon something else layer 3 and another layer 4. And they're going to continue going on and on and on until Ethereum really actually gets it together. Think of Polygon is meant to be not a long-term solution, but a more than a 1 week solution. Imagine the idea that one NFT game, one, is almost 50% of the actual gas consumption just for this one network. What happens if Polygon was 10 times as popular? What happens if there were 15 games that people were playing on their phone, on their computer all the time, on top of all the other dApps and the other NFT activity that's also taking place? So yeah, I find stuff like this very I'm not really sure why. I think it's more of a reality kind of thing because we keep getting told that these layers are going to be it. But the scaling for the actual cryptocurrency space has to expand. This is why the idea of Bitcoin being the #1 coin remains. If you listen to actual like prominent investors, not these like crazy people on YouTube who are like, man, I made 35,000 last month. No, like actual billionaires, like that guy Chamath Palpataya, I can never say his last name. Listen to what they actually say about the market. Bitcoin makes no promises as to being like Bitcoin's going to have 95 million transactions per second. No, Bitcoin is 3 transactions per second, digital gold, gonna be held by governments so that they can issue new currencies against the Bitcoin that they have. Blank. Any other promise comes from an outside source who's like, we're going to do this on top of Bitcoin, and that's basically it. All the other promises from all the other coins, they don't happen, or they happen very slowly, but they're not keeping pace with the actual need by the world for these actual currencies and other layers. If you look at the actual usage in Latin America and in Africa, in Southeast Asia, and also parts of Northern Asia, wink, of people who need these currencies and are actually trying to use them on a daily basis, but they can't because of the actual gas fees, it's a shame. Not talking about Polygon, I mean like the actual layer 1s and other things of other coins. Anyway, so yeah. I hope that Ethereum upgrades on time. I would love to see the promised in 2016 to me, the 1 million transactions per second on top of Ethereum. I assume this will take multiple layers and multiple side chains, but it has to happen. You know, when the world's economy is crumbling right in front of our eyes, when it takes someone standing on a podium to say, hey, we're not going to be printing as much money, and the stock market falls, it's time for like another solution. There's no more waiting behind the, in the background. Maybe by 2026, we'll have the proper, Ethereum 2.0. Maybe by 2040, we'll have Ethereum 3.0. That sounds like a good time frame, right? No, like to do these things now. I don't understand why things are taking so long. Anyway, I'm done ranting. That's the Polygon news. I found it interesting because it's called Sunflower Farmers, and you wouldn't expect something called Sunflower Farmers to be taking up nearly 50% of a network. Yeah. Let's move on. Next up, in major, everyone's talking about this major news. Co-founder and CEO of Airbnb, Brian Chesky, has confirmed that his company is already, underway with plans to integrate crypto payments into its platform. The planned crypto adoption will follow the likes of AMC Theaters, which now accepts about 5 different cryptos. Chesky on Monday threw open a suggestion poll on Twitter to find out what areas of service esteemed Twitter users and customers of the peer-to-peer rental giant would like the company to improve. The results reveals thousands of valid suggestions, with the top 7 being adopting crypto, clear pricing displays. Do they not already do that? Do people not know how? Okay. Effective visitor loyalty. I don't have to read the rest of it. The number 1 is crypto payments. This made the airwaves, the news. People on the radio were talking about this. They weren't. Airbnb CEO dabbles with adding crypto payments in 2022. I'm going to assume that they've been having this discussion behind the scenes. I assume that every major company has been doing this. I don't assume that this is simply this person being like, oh, crypto? And then asking people on Twitter. Because usually, wait, does it say? No, doesn't even say. I was going to say how many, I wanted to see how many replies or responses he actually had to this. If he had like 900,000 responses, that's a pretty good metric for what should probably be done on the actual platform. But I'm going to assume around like 800 people actually ended up responding. So yeah, I guess this is meant to drum up hype for people to kind of get excited. It says the Airbnb CEO says a crypto revolution is happening. Wow, glad you finally got there, sir. Once again, I foresee by about 5 years, nearly every company will accept crypto in some form or fashion. I think if they won't, they're going to look completely insane. I think the other part of it is going to be, it depends on how high cryptocurrency prices are that will allow people or want to be able to actually spend their cryptocurrencies. Once again, we are still in a world where people are expecting a $500,000 Bitcoin this year, next year, the year after that, or the year after that. We're still at the point where people are expecting Ethereum 2.0, a 5,000 Ethereum, a 9,000 Ethereum, a $15,000 Ethereum, and what was the other one? Someone said by 2023 or 2024, the $100,000 Ethereum. I think at that point, people will become a lot more comfortable with actually spending their cryptocurrencies because it's going to be a fragment of a fragment of a fragment of a fragment, as opposed to being like, well, listen, I have half an Ether, but I really want to stay in this hotel, so let me spend the entire thing that I have. That's kind of my idea anyway. So yeah, the news floating around that people were quite excited about it, I guess. I'm not really sure. Was the Airbnb accepting crypto payments? It's going to happen. Of course, no word as to which ones they're thinking of accepting. I think it's safe to assume it's going to be Bitcoin, probably using Lightning, and also Ethereum. And then we'll get a good chunk of other coins. I'm going to assume it's going to be 2 coins at first, and then they're probably going to have another poll or something on their website over the course of a 3-month period asking other people what other coins they want. And we all know XRP, Shiba Inu, Cardano, and one other coin are going to be like the top picks on that website as well. Anyway, that's the Airbnb news. Is anyone excited? Probably not. Anyway, yeah, let's move on. Also in news, 3 more countries are likely to take El Salvador's lead and make Bitcoin legal tender in 2022. This is according to DeVere Group's CEO Nigel Green, who said a dependence on the US dollar across developing countries leaves them vulnerable to currency fluctuations. You might remember a day or 2 ago, we had news from the president of El Salvador, who announced, it was like a weird Easter hunt kind of thing. He was making a whole bunch of predictions as if he knew that they weren't predictions. They were like truth dictions. Not a word, but you understand what I'm saying. And one of the things that the president said was that he said this year, 2 more countries are going to be accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. We've heard the whispers behind the scenes. We've heard that there are other countries who are making not laws. Yeah, laws. Yeah. Like bills and laws that are kind of going forward to see if Bitcoin is going to become legal tender in their country. I found it fascinating that this guy, who used to be really in the news for a while, especially mid last year or so, the DeVere Group, I believe, also holds a huge amount of Bitcoin as well. So it's not unlikely for me to believe that these people have probably had discussions with either CEOs or entire countries, the leaders of countries, about the actual adoption of Bitcoin as their legal tender. It also says Panama, Paraguay, and Guatemala. That would be quite interesting if that actually ends up taking place. It is, of course, still the beginning of the year. But whenever news like this ends up coming up, 90% of the time, it usually ends up being true. Even weirder, the really odd news that we get, like someone like standing behind a pillar in like a garage or something like that kind of news, usually ends up being true in the cryptocurrency space. But whenever we get like back-to-back news, like the president of a country and then also the CEO who's really involved in Bitcoin names 3 countries, you know. Anyway, not many people are talking about this. I don't know why. I mean, DeVere Group is gigantic. But yeah, I thought this was fascinating. And let's move on. And to finish things off, a lot of people, this was also one of the most popular news stories of the day. I'm not really sure why. It just seems completely logical. MoneyGram has completed an investment in cryptocurrency ATM operator CoinMe. They said, at MoneyGram, we continue to be bullish on the vast opportunities that exist in the ever-growing world of cryptocurrency. So, for those of you who don't know, many years ago, there was speculation and even possible integration of MoneyGram and Western Union into the cryptocurrency space. One of them was working with Ripple. I think the other one was working with Stellar. I think none of these things or proposals actually went through, because we would definitely be hearing about them all the time, especially the Ripple one. But basically, the news that we had from the Ripple side, and I think the other coins or blockchains that they were testing, that they didn't feel the need to actually enter the cryptocurrency space because they saw more opportunity in the things that they were doing, and they were confident that people would continue using their services. I'm not sure if you've seen this commercial. It keeps popping up. It's driving me absolutely insane. It's a commercial for one of them, MoneyGram or Western Union. And if you look at like the words on it, it says, oh gosh, what is it? It's like send money from home whenever, and it's like, did you guys just get the 2005? Like how? Like what's the slowness of your walking there? So the news is that allegedly MoneyGram has purchased a 4% stake in a Bitcoin ATM, and everyone's completely losing their mind, thinking that MoneyGram is going to be announcing relatively soon that they're going to be accepting Bitcoin or allowing Bitcoin as an actual transfer behind the scenes. I'm not sure how these companies still exist. I really legitimately do not understand. And I say it to you this way. The idea being is that MoneyGram and Western Union exist so that you can, of course, transfer money around the world. But the way that they do it, as far as liquidity and stuff like that, are absolutely terrible. I'm almost certain. Now, this is, I'm not everywhere around the world, but nearly everyone in many places has access to a smartphone. There are about 5 different apps that are actually being used around the world that completely shatter anything that MoneyGram and Western Union are actually doing. And I say smartphones because you can buy a smartphone from 2010, 2009, 2011, and it still works pretty okay for you to be able to actually download apps and send money and stuff on it back and forth. If people have a computer, why wouldn't you just use a stablecoin, or why wouldn't you just use a trusted website to actually send money? So these companies are failing. They know that they're failing. They're going to continue to believe and act like they're not failing to everyone else around them. I would assume that behind the scenes, they are trying to acquire portions of as many other companies as possible. And I also would not find it very surprising at all if in the year 2042, we hear that MoneyGram and Western Union have at least 1,000 to 5,000 Bitcoin. Because it just seems, someone there has to know that this can't continue forever. Like, no one is using these actual things. Even when I walk by a MoneyGram or a Western Union in the street somewhere, they're always empty. There's no line outside of them waiting, because people, it's the year 2022. You can just send money in thousands of other ways. So yeah, I don't get anything from this news, but this was incredibly popular, and there was a lot of speculation that they're going to be diving deeper into the cryptocurrency space. I mean, I hope so. They don't really have a choice business-wise. Like, what else is MoneyGram going to continue doing? Like, even like people who are in their 70s and 80s, like they know how to use online banking. They know how to open up an app. Like, my grandmother can like video chat with me. Isn't that crazy? Like, my grandmother knows how to use the internet and a smartphone. No one's using these services anymore. Anyway, kind of a ranty day. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and let's move on. Chris, Hakeem Wilkins, Empire Queen, Stake It With Valor, FUDWISER, Mortified, Roman Geba, Bitcoin, Ben Arachno, Dave, Tony Ambrosi, The Dealer's Den, Red Plump Tomato, Umnu, Wish Nikki, the letter M, Not Brain, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lay Crypto, Black Sheep, AJ Cut 5, Speedy 655, and Carlos Was Like, Mobarazi, Jojo Shaw Show, VB Nerd, 21, Miguel Grolay, Lauren De Silva, Quarterbitty, Bare Bones Mining, Troy, All Good, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolek Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohan Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise 9, Owl, 242 to the World Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien, Set Sooner, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavoti, Jim Garner, Jemmy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto. Bodie McBoatface, Bodie McBoatface. Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola and Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who left a like, left a comment, comments, or has subscribed, or has tried to help with my algorithm in any way. Thank you very much. At the momento, Bitcoin is currently at 42,762 US dollars. It is down by 8.5%. I'm actually shocked. When I went to sleep, I was like, I'm going to wake up, it's going to be $39,000. I think that would have been a lot, what's the word? Like a really good bounce off point. I'm feeling 39,000 as like a really good bounce off point. I mean, it could also happen somewhere around here as well. I don't have to tell you, the percentages that things are down. It's just more like everything is in red at the moment. However, silver lining, for those of you who keep writing that you wanted prices to go lower because you wanted to buy at a specific price, well, buddy boy, here you are. So yeah, I try to be as honest with you as possible on this channel, as honest as the algorithm will let me when saying things, but you understand what I'm saying. The sooner you understand or accept that Bitcoin is the market, everything becomes a lot simpler. I have no stress today from the market because I've seen this 1,000 times before. But yeah, I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all try to have a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.